Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Nvidia daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Nvidia stock. Let's go over what is happening in this absolute kangaroo of a market. I'll give you my thoughts moving forward and all of that good stuff. So also as per usual, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you do enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, etc., well, I do share my thoughts with my members every single day. The market is open for just $3 a month, mainly on Tesla stocks, sometimes other stocks as well. Or for $5 a month, you get access to everything in the first tier. So Tesla and sometimes other stocks as well, at least as of right now, but also Nvidia daily updates. And I will be opening up a third tier, which will include Discord plus non-Tesla Nvidia stocks as well. But today, for instance, in the pretty wild kangaroo market, I did actually share two of my purchases on Tesla and Nvidia, actually. One of which was Tesla at 253, and then the next one was this one. This was the one I'm pretty proud of. I was very patient with Nvidia. I mean, I took very small L's trying to catch the knife, I guess, if you will, once or twice. But ultimately, I was very patient for the actual true entry, which was this one here, right? After waiting very patiently, this was 4 hours ago, from 140, when everyone told me we were going to 160, I have begun a position here at 108, and we'll add down to 105. Now, I don't usually share these kind of things. I just want to make it very clear. I don't share my trades, but because of the market that we were in, I felt like it was, help people out a little bit, or anyone that's freaking out or anything like that, because we're in a very aggressive market, guys. This is not an easy market, not for me, not for many people, right? It's a hard market. It is what it is. It's a very difficult market, and day trading this is hard unless you really know what you're doing. It's difficult. It is difficult. Very much of a kangaroo market, but Nvidia is shaping up. I don't know. Good news and bad news, man. Honestly, I'll be honest. I'm still very perplexed on this stock. Now, I entered the position. Let's go to the daily chart. Why did I even enter the position if I'm so perplexed? Well, because it was very close to my target. Like I mentioned, I've been pretty much looking for about 107, 106, right? Somewhere around there is the level I've been waiting for very patiently, arguably since all the way up here at 140 when everyone was telling me it's going to 160. I'm sure you can go back to those videos and check that out. And the stock is still bearish. I just want to make it very clear. The stock is not out of the woods yet. There's still work to do. There's a lot of work to do potentially. Still making lower lows on the daily, blah, 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 blah. It's still bearish. No questions asked. It is still bearish, but it got extremely close to my target. And I'm not usually one that waits for, the exact touch of my target, the exact touch of the trend line. You don't always get the exact touch. Granted, I didn't enter with full position in case we do get that exact touch, but I figured it's a good place to start my position and just start building it. So moving forward to Nvidia, let's start with the 1 hour. The 1 hour is showing potential. It is showing some potential. Why is it showing some potential? Because we are finally arguably breaking out of this little, maybe not little, honestly, this happened all the way since 135, but this descending channel, right? This descending channel that we've been pretty much zigzagging in between, and now we're potentially getting ready to finally break out. And arguably we have already, you can see here, not only did we break out, but we're already potentially retesting this channel on the breakout as a potentially successful retest. So looking not bad, right? It's looking like, okay, there is potential here. Like this is setting up to be something interesting, right? I do want to see Nvidia break above this high right here, which was about 113 and change. We're not too far from it. That would give it a bit more confidence. And I think that at the very least will bring Nvidia back up to about this kind of 117 to maybe 120-ish region. And that's where I'm most likely going to take profit. I'll be completely, transparent with you, because that's where I think the real resistance will come in. Not only is that going to be that daily horizontal resistance and essentially a region of supply, which, had a massive area here, massive support here, which now should be resistance. And the last, 2 days up here, we had it as resistance. And also, of course, we also have this trend line right here that we did technically break down below, this one right here, right? So we have all these levels that, unfortunately will be something that the bulls will have to get past. And obviously, I'm not so sure if they will. They absolutely might, but I'm not confident until proven otherwise, if that makes sense. And that's also roughly where that 8 EMA is going to be sitting, about that 117, 118-ish region. So that to me has a lot of confluence, and I'm most likely going to be actually even setting an alert right here, right now, live on camera, so that once it gets there, just in case I miss it, it gets alerted and I'm ready to take profits. That's kind of how I'm looking at it, right? I have alert down here to take profit in case we break below 110, so that my trade is positive and I don't give back, because that's something this market is very good at doing. And of course, my actual target, which about is, in the 117-ish region. So that area is going to be a massive area. The bulls need to break past it. I do think breaking out of this downward channel should give us back a test of this general vicinity here, but the bulls need to break past that region. It's going to be extremely, extremely crucial. Now, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. I wish I can hide this. Can I not hide this on like other time frames? Wait, if I hide that alert, what does it look like? And then what? How do I see it? I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so the thing that's perplexing to me is this on the weekly. If I zoom out like this, right? It's just like, it's very annoying. Why is it annoying? Because there's two perspectives. One perspective is this one. This is the bullish perspective. This is the perspective where if you're someone that draws channels and you're a channel trader essentially, the channels should always pretty much be parallel to each other, right? Essentially, you take this one, nice clean channel, copy paste it, bring it down here, and that's essentially what you get. And look at that, it had a perfect touch of the bottom channel. You couldn't ask for a better touch. You couldn't ask for a better touch and retest of this bottom channel. It's pretty much textbook. Like, it truly is perfect. So if this is the perspective you're looking at it, Nvidia has a damn good chance that it just pretty much bottomed in this, 108-ish region. And from here, technically speaking, it can actually make its way all the way back up to fresh all-time highs, again, sometime by June, maybe, 160s. That actually becomes a target. Like, that's a realistic target if you look at it from this perspective. The other perspective is, of course, going to be this perspective. And this is the one I've been sharing usually, the main one I've been looking. And this is the one I'm personally following right now, mainly because we're also in a very finicky market, and I'd rather be safe than sorry in this kind of market. So this perspective is essentially suggesting that we broke down below, and it's not a channel, it's more of a wedge, right? It's getting kind of tighter. You can see it's not a parallel channel, it's a wedge, right? The lines aren't parallel to each other. This one's kind of more steeply rising upwards to eventually technically meet this one. Anyway, you know what a wedge is. And there's two things I don't like. Obviously, the fact that we broke this week's low and closed below it, and that's not really good, but we broke down below this wedge, the bottom line. We closed below it. Not good. Don't like to see that. So we could get that bounce back up, which is another confluence with that 117-ish area. It's essentially getting a retest of this channel breakdown. Something to watch out for into potentially as early as next week. Could be next week, honestly. So that's number one. Number two, we closed below the 50 EMA. The 50 EMA is right here. We closed below it. We had these 3 weeks right here that we came down to it and held and closed above it. Unfortunately, this week we couldn't do it. We closed below the 50 EMA. I don't like that. And of course, you also have the 21 and 9 EMA crossing to the bearish side as well. So I see these factors and I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan, right? Even if the correct perspective is this, like this is the channel, like this is what you're supposed to be looking at. This is where Nvidia is actually at. Even if I were to look at this, I still have these issues with the EMAs, with the crossing bearishness and closing below the 50. That still exists even with this perspective. So that's why I need to see more confidence. Now, on the flip side, if Nvidia can close back above the 50 EMA next week and close back above this channel and essentially back in this wedge, I should say, essentially above, honestly, to make it simple, 119, about 119, that's a different story. Okay, now we're talking, but don't get trapped because there's a damn good chance it pushes back up into even 120, maybe even 122 intra-week, maybe Wednesday or something, just for it to wick down under. That happens very often. So just I'm just pointing that out right now that can happen. The market likes to trap people like that, and sometimes candle closures, they really mean so much more than anything else, because you can get those kind of instances that can happen like that. So just be careful. Just kind of giving a warning right now, because again, the fact that the EMAs are weakening up like this, and again, this is the first time since this parabolic run up that Nvidia's had, the EMAs are weakening like this. Not only is it getting that bearish crossover, but it's also, of course, closing below the 50. This is the first time it's done. And it's not like Tesla stock that kind of just does it all over the place willy-nilly. Like, yeah, I did it here, and it's like, oh, I did it here, then it went back up, whatever, but then it went back down and under, and now it's back up, and it's like, what's going on? It's not like Tesla where it just kind of almost feels like it does it sometimes willy-nilly. Nvidia hasn't done this in a long time. Like, this is actually like a true change of trend and momentum for the stock in years, right? This isn't just something that just happens every year or whatever. What I mean? Does that make sense? It's just a big shift in what the stock is used to and has been experiencing, which is why I'm extra cautious on that. So let's see how this plays out moving into, honestly, the rest of the month, but especially next week or the week after, depending on when we come up to retest it. I think it'll be next week personally, but yeah, let's see how that plays out. That's the main thing I'm eyeballing right now for Nvidia. So if we do not break back up above, right? So there's one or two things will happen. Either we just come straight down to this level, 100 level, which, if it happens late in the week, it'll, essentially be a move back down like this right here, something like that. Or, and that'll happen like instantly, essentially. Or we do get that retest, right? We do come up from here, maybe a small little pain, and then we come up next week, come up into that, 118-ish range, we'll say, right? Give or take, of course, like I said. And then we reject and then come down to 100. That's option 2. Option 3 is we actually recapture it and then we move higher. That's the bullish option. This is the bearish option, short-term bullish, and this is just straight bearish. So those are the three pathways. Nobody knows which one will play out. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. But that's why we have these levels to work with. That's why this kind of market, unfortunately, requires patience. This is why sometimes I feel like I should only be trading Nvidia because, you know, I was very, very patient with Nvidia. I sold right here. Granted, I didn't sell the top. I'm not going to act like I did. I didn't sell the top. I sold pretty much right around, it was like close to 130. Like I think it might have been even 128 plus the cash cover call. So close to 130, I think it was. That's where I sold. That's where I exited my shares. It did run up even further. I didn't FOMO in. And instead, I was patient. I don't get FOMO with this stock, which is why I feel like I'm pretty successful at trading Nvidia. I just don't get FOMO. I don't really care. If I miss it, hey, it is what it is. I wish I could say the same about Tesla though. And then I was very patiently waiting this whole sell-off. Yeah, I caught it a little, you know, stabbed myself a couple of times here, small little stop losses, you know, small little losses on trades, day trades, etc. Yeah, you know, I did take small L's there, I will admit. But the overall scheme is the fact that I was very patient for an actual entry down here, which I finally got, right? And, you know, again, this market requires patience, unfortunately. And, you know, if you're patient enough, you will get these kind of nice entries, you know, waiting for you essentially, right? Instead of just trying to lose here, 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 trying to cash the knife like 20 times, which again, sometimes, you know, I wish I could say about Tesla stock. I need to work on my emotions when it comes to this stock, that's for sure. But my emotions when it comes to Nvidia has been pretty much almost perfect. Not perfect, but pretty damn close. But yeah, so let's just wait for that, right? Again, it's going to require patience. That's the only reason I bring it up. It will require patience. Let's see how it actually plays out. Let's see how it, you know, this could be a massive turning point for the stock. So this is going to take patience to really kind of watch the picture unfold. Small swings in between, of course. But yeah, let's see. But all in all, thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.